people hated it. But with anything that's brand new, you're going to have growing pains and struggles. And I think they made leaps in year two last November, December, and made it better. And I would think they would continue to do the same thing. So, okay, let's go to news and rumors that I have for those of you that are still with me on TikTok. And I think I think I'm back on YouTube. So if you're with me on YouTube, you can say hi or let me know, and we'll go from there. In no particular order here, 4th of July is this Friday. If you're down in Orlando, or you plan to be, maybe whether you're going to head there or maybe next year you're thinking about being there around the 4th of July, at Magic Kingdom, they do their special 4th of July fireworks on both July 3rd and July 4th. So you can hit it on either of those nights. I would encourage you to go on July 3rd, and I'll tell you why here in just a minute. But they have a special fireworks show. It's not Happily Ever After. It's specific for the 4th of July. It's called Celebrate America, a 4th of July concert in the sky. Epcot has their special fireworks for the 4th of July only on July 4th. So that's why I would tell you, go do Magic Kingdom's 4th of July fireworks on the 3rd, and then you can head over to Epcot on the 4th and see theirs. Epcot, they do Luminous as scheduled, but then after that, following that, they do a special fireworks show called Heartbeat of Freedom. So you're getting the 18-minute Luminous and then tack on time for the Heartbeat of Freedom show after that. So, hey, Helen, thanks for coming back over. So you can see that as well. And I'll tell you, we've never been there on 4th of July. We've been down there on New Year's before, and Epcot in the past has done something similar. While they will do, it's Luminous now, but back then it was Illuminations. And then after that, they did a special New Year's Eve fireworks show, just second to none. So that's coming up. I'm struggling to realize that today's July 1st, which means we're in the second half of 2025 already. But it is what it is. So yeah, 4th of July this Friday. Blizzard Beach. So right now, both Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon are open simultaneously. It's the first time since before COVID that both have been open. Blizzard Beach will be closing now for their seasonal refurbishment. They close on September 8th. So you've got a little over 2 months now to enjoy Blizzard Beach if you happen to be down there. This one, if you haven't been on social media in the last 2-3 days, you may not be aware of this because it flew under the radar. Disney made no announcements about it, but Hall of Presidents reopened on June 29th, which was Sunday. There was no fanfare. It just walked into the park and it was added back on my Disney Experience app, and it was open for people to watch. So zero interest in talking about politics. For me, the experience is just about the American history and the history of our presidents, which I think is pretty cool. Helen, yeah, so there was rumor that when that closure of Hall of Presidents happened and the extended closure, that they were going to do away with Hall of Presidents and that a Muppet version of American history was going to go in there. I think a lot of people were excited about that rumor. Clearly, it was just that, a rumor, but I was really hoping too, Helen, that was going to happen. Let's see here. Towards the middle of this month, the Little Mermaid ride at the Magic Kingdom Park will be closing for refurbishment July 21st through July 26th. So keep that in mind. This one, Blake, if you're still with me, I know this one hit you. So Blake, if you're still back on TikTok with me, let me know. But Spaceship Earth at Epcot will be closing for what they're calling routine refurbishment starting August 25th through late 2025. Blake, okay, you're here. Good. So yeah, Spaceship Earth is closing for refurbishment August 25th. It will reopen late 2025. If you follow Disney at all, prior to COVID, there was a plan for them to close Spaceship Earth for an extended period of time. And when I say extended, probably closer to a year, kind of like Test Track. And they were going to do serious refurb, probably some redo of some of the scenery and things like that. Disney has said that's not what's happening here. That's why it's going to be close to 3-4 months. It's one of the most popular, iconic rides in the four parks, so they don't want it to be closed too terribly long. But it would be closed August 25th through late of 2025. Blake, I know you would ask the question, that's favorite rides. You're supposed to be there in September when it's closed. Should you still go or should you reschedule your trip? I think, Blake, if I saw right, you've decided you're still going to go. So I don't necessarily need to argue one way or the other for you. But, if I were to argue for going, I could tell you that, well, things like Test Track will be open at Epcot that's been closed for the last year. So you get to experience that. The new nighttime parade at the Magic Kingdom will be up and running. And by the time you're there in September, it will have been up and running for almost 2 full months. So any bugs that they have to work out, they will have had that worked out. So you get that experience. You've got the new shows at Hollywood Studios that just opened recently at the end of May, being the Little Mermaid show and then the Villain show. Spectacular. Also think about things like, if you go to Animal Kingdom, the dinosaur ride, it's going to operate through the end of 2025, and then it will be closing down. And it will be rethemed to an Indiana Jones themed ride. Not exactly like Disneyland. It will be unique, but you would miss out on that. Same thing, Rock and Roller Coaster at Hollywood Studios. It's scheduled to close in early 2026 to be sucked out of Aerosmith and put in with Muppets. So there are still reasons, I think, to go and now. But yeah, and you can go back when Spaceship Earth is reopened. Absolutely. And depending upon how often you're thinking about going, 2027 could be a pretty big year. At some point in time, they haven't announced dates yet. It's way too far in advance, but things like Monster Land and Central Americas in Animal Kingdom Hey Cece will be opening. The Cars Land and Magic Kingdom, Villains Land and Magic Kingdom, all those things are scheduled at some point in 2027 to open. So I guess what I tell you is a couple things. If you were to go sometime in 2026, yes, you may miss out on some things. Buzz Lightyear, I didn't mention that yet. I think I have that on my list here, but that's closing. Yeah, it is on my list. That was next on my list. That's closing in August for a sometime in 2026 reopening. That's going to be a big redo. They're going to have new scenes, new ride vehicles. The blasters will be handheld. The targets will light up when you hit them. They'll be more interactive. So that's going to be a pretty big effort on their part. So Buzz Lightyear will be closed when you're there in September. Open sometime in 2026. I don't work for Disney. Disney doesn't share any secrets with me, but I have got to imagine 2026, there are going to be some really good promotions to get people to go to the parks, because I think they understand that a lot of people are going to say, you know what, I'll wait until 2027 when the new things open and I'll go then. So they're going to financially need people to come next year, and promotions is probably the way they're going to do that. So yeah, I just mentioned Buzz Lightyear. Test Track 3.0 cast previews started on the 27th. I think they just announced pass holder previews. Dates for that will be coming. And then it reopens to the general public on July 22nd. So Blake, you'd be able to ride that then. July 18th through 27, Cheryl is going. Magic Kingdom on the 20th for the parade, and Epcot. Oh, that's awesome, Cheryl. You're going to nail both. Now, Cheryl, you'll have to let me know. I'm interested on the 20th, which is the first night of the parade. First off, they're doing 2 showings. I don't know if you know that or not. They're doing a showing, I think it's at 9 p.m. They're going to do the fireworks Happily Ever After at 10 p.m. And then they're doing a second showing of the parade at 11 p.m. They've extended park hours at least for the first couple of weeks for the parade, with an 11 p.m. closing. I would highly encourage that. Yeah, you're going to do the 11 p.m. parade. People with littles, those littles struggle to make it to 11 p.m. Heck, some of us adults struggle to make it to 11 p.m. So I would imagine that 9 p.m. parade is going to be jam-packed. But depending upon where you're hoping to see the parade from, with the fireworks happening at 10 p.m., Main Street could be packed, and it could be really hard getting a parade spot. So You'll have to let me know, Cheryl, how that goes, what the crowd's like on that day, because you have to imagine every local with an annual pass is going to be there on the 20th to see it, plus those that just happen to luckily be on vacation then, and it fell in their lap that way. Let's see here. Blake said we're going to skip Disney World 26 and go to Disneyland, then back in 27 when everything opens, because we've never been to Disneyland. That's cool. That's awesome, Blake. Yeah, if you need help with Disneyland, let me know. I can help you with that as well. Yep. I'm excited to see a lot of the influencers too. Yeah, there'll be a lot of them there, I'm sure. Let me rephrase that. Every one of them will be there. I don't think it'll be some of them. Every one of them will be there for sure. Let's see here. Astro Orbiter reopened on June 27th at Magic Kingdom. I think it was another one that really kind of flew under the radar as far as a reopening goes. It was just added back to the My Disney Experience app. And if you happen to be in the park on the 27th and walking down Tomorrowland towards it, you might have looked up and went, oh, look, there's people on that ride now. So that's opening. No, that's running. And I already said this, but I'll repeat it again. On July 20th, the Disney Starlight Parade debuts at the Magic Kingdom, a new nighttime parade, brand new. They will have showings at 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. with Happily Ever After happening at 10 p.m. The park closing till 11 p.m. is at least through August 2nd. So at least the first 2 weeks of the new parade, they're going to close at 11 p.m. I would imagine, and it may not be until the end of August, and I'm just guessing here, I don't have any inside knowledge, that they'll probably continue to do 11 p.m. closing until they get towards the end of August, when summer vacation and summer travel starts to wane and it starts to get darker just a little bit earlier. My guess is they'll probably adjust at that point in time. Jessica, hey, welcome in. How are you? Took a very long call with DVC yesterday, so I have assistance and DVC questions in the future. Awesome. Are you looking at getting into DVC? Did I spark your interest when we talked about that last time? Well, hello, Jessica. Clearer on TikTok than YouTube. I don't know if seeing me in a clearer view is a good thing, though. Discussing DVC options. That's awesome. All right. You guys want to have a little fun? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do Disney trivia. I have, hey, Skel, welcome in. I have 15 trivia questions, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read the first one. In my head, I'm going to count to 10. You got 10 seconds to put in an answer on either channel, wherever you're at. If you're on both places, that's fine, but just send me one answer. The first answer I see of yours is what I'm going to take. I'm going to put people's names down, and I'm going to keep score, and we'll see what we have at the end of the trivia. Some of these, I'm going to be honest with you, are going to be super simple, and everybody better get them right. Some of them are going to be a little bit harder, and so we'll see how those go. Maybe those will be what splits apart who wins and who finishes in a close second. All right. First question. Again, either place, if you're in both channels, you can put the answer in one or the other. Try to be kind to me and not put them in both, because I'm going to. No, that's not the first. Jessica, that's a given. Everybody knows that question. Hey, Ronnie, welcome back. I had connection problems on YouTube earlier anyway. So, but we're gonna do trivia right now, Ronnie. I'm going to read the question. Everybody's going to have about 10 seconds to put in their answer. I'm going to keep track of everybody who answered and who got right and who got wrong, and we'll find out who wins at the end. I got to write down a couple things here. Okay. So I know Helen is on, and I know Ronnie is on, and Jessica's on. Cheryl, I see you here. Blake, I think you're still with me. Skel, I saw you join. I'm going to just write some names down. So if I didn't say your name yet, that's okay. When I see your first answer, I'll write your name down. So here we go. First question. I'll read the whole thing. I'll count slowly to 10 in my head. I might have to use my fingers to do it. And then I'll call time, and whatever answers I have are what I'll take. So who played Belle in the live action version of Beauty and the Beast? Hello, Amanda. Oh, Cece's on. Lamons is on. Helen, don't be challenging me with this AKA stuff now. Come on. Yeah, Jessica, see, she did the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to go at TikTok here. Cheryl's answer, Jessica's answer. Then over on YouTube, I have Amanda's answer, Helen's answer, Cece's answer, Lamons. All right. So if you didn't answer, that's considered a wrong answer. So the correct answer, as most of you placed, is Emma Watson. Who watched this isn't a trivia question, who watched that live action of Beauty and the Beast? Jessica did. I could have guessed you did, Jessica. I think you've seen everything under the sun that Disney did. Cece did. Helen did. Lamons did. Amanda saw it 3 times in theater. Wow, that's awesome. Cheryl absolutely did. Blake saw it 1,000 times. Or did your finger get stuck on your 0 key, Blake? Had to see Emma. Belle's my favorite princess. Cheryl, I would totally buy in on that one. Totally agree with you on that. I think Belle is spectacular. Okay, who did not see the live action Beauty and the Beast? Who has not seen it? Don't be shy. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and fess up. Ronnie has not seen it. Thank you for being honest, Ronnie. Skell says he can tell he's already going to be terrible at this. So I think Skell is telling me he did not see it, has not seen it, okay? Daughters watch it weekly, says Blake. Good Lord. I guess I grew up raising boys. Or I didn't grow up. I raised boys. They were little. I have not seen it. I knew the answer was Emma Watson. I knew that from commercials and things like that, but I've not sat and watched that whole thing from start to finish. Belle is one of your outfit themes, like for November, Jessica? Is that what you're telling me? That's one of your outfit themes for in November when we're there? No, I don't have a Mighty Duck question next for the boy. I can't wait to see that, Jessica. That's awesome. Well, Helen, yeah, I mean, so Helen said she bets more people have seen the live action Beauty and the Beast than they have the live action Snow White. Now, out of fairness, that Beauty and the Beast has been around for several years, where Snow White just came out a few months ago. And if anybody watched social media before Snow White even came out, everybody was told it was horrible, so don't go. But yeah, you don't mean because it's been around longer. I know, Helen. Okay, number 2. Again, this should be a slam dunk for everybody. Who voiced Woody in the Toy Story movies? You can quote every line from the good Lord. Jessica and Cheryl, I have answers from you. Chuck joins in with an answer. Welcome in, Chuck. Skell gets an answer in. Amanda with an answer in. Helen gets in. Lamons is in. Ronnie knew that one, she says. Cece, are you still with me? Blake, are you? No, Blake did. No, Blake, you haven't answered yet, didn't he? You could have, Jessica. Don't say that, though, Jessica. It makes it sound like I shared the questions with you before I've asked them. Your answer came in slow. So I see it up there. Okay. All right. The answer, as everybody shared, is Tom Hanks. Love that. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. Great movie. All right, number 3. Gonna get a little bit harder. In the movie The Lion King, which character says this line? It is time? Who says it is time in The Lion King? Jessica has an answer. Amanda has an answer. Helen has an answer. Cheryl has an answer. Chuck has an answer. Skell has an answer. Ronnie, that's going to be totally forgot is not an option. Lamons has an answer. Blake says the baboon. I might give you half credit if that's the right answer. Okay. The answer to who said it is time in The Lion King is Rafiki. So some of you got that right. Cece, Helen, Amanda, Skell. I think you guys are the ones. And let's see, anybody else? I don't think everybody else got it right. So I told you some of them might be a little bit harder. All right, let's go on to number 4. In what movie did When You Wish Upon a Star debut? This one might be harder. In what movie did When You Wish Upon a Star debut? Amanda with an answer. Cece with an answer. Helen with an answer. I should have told you guys, no Googling. No Googles. Cheryl said maybe. Maybe what, Cheryl? I missed if you said something else. Cece with an answer. I think I already marked that down, maybe. Oops. Yeah, no Googles. No Googling, no cheating. I'm not giving you the year, Blake, because that might give it away. I mean, like if I said, and I'm making this up, if I said like 2014, you might be thinking something. If I said 1964, you might be thinking something completely different, and I'm making up dates. Did it block our answers? Cheryl said Pinocchio. Jessica, I don't see your answer after you said Rafiki. So, okay, you also put that? All right, thanks, Jessica. Blake said Pinocchio. Okay. Cheryl says she thinks it's either Pinocchio or Cinderella, but she's going to go with Pinocchio. That's okay, Jessica. I trust you. It's all good. The answer was Pinocchio. Pinocchio is the movie that When You Wish Upon a Star sung. Which character sang it? That's not a question here. Which character sang When You Wish Upon a Star in Pinocchio? Anybody know that one? Bonus points. Cheryl got in just before Cece. Jiminy Cricket. Yes, that's right. Jiminy C. Scale. Perfect. All right, let's go on to number 5. In the movie Moana, who voiced the character Maui? Jessica got your answer. Cheryl got your answer. Chuck got yours. Jump over the other side here. Helen got your answer. Amanda got your answer. Cece, I got yours. Lamont, I got yours. What is happening here? Oops. Sorry, gang. There we go. What the heck? There we go. Having to do this puzzle piece thing. Jesse, you'll give some his real name for Razzle Dazzle. Okay. The answer was Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I think most of you guys all got that. Okay. Robbie, I see you just joined. Welcome in. We're doing a little trivia here, having some fun. Okay. This is going to be a slam dunk, easy peasy. Which movie did the line "Just keep swimming" come from? Same to you, Robbie. Happy 4th. Be safe. Jessica's in with an answer. Cheryl's in with an answer. Robbie's in. I got to get you on here, Robbie. I got to jump over to the other side here real quick. Helen with an answer. Amanda with an answer. Blake with an answer. Helen, no, I'm not going to sing. I'd like you guys to stick around. I don't want to chase people off. So, and Chuck, I see your answer. This is the most relevant version of Jeopardy. So Robbie, you just joined, and for everybody else, bear with me, but I'm live on my TikTok channel here on my phone that I'm looking at right now. I'm also live on my Park Life podcast channel on YouTube over here. So if you see me looking back and forth, that's why I'm dual live tonight for the first time. Okay. Let's stick with Nemo then. What type of fish is Nemo? Get some of these are easier than others. Figured first week I give you a bunch of slam dunks. What type of fish is Nemo? Amanda, I see you with an answer. Helen with an answer. Blake with an answer. Skell with an answer. Lamons with an answer. I got to jump over this side. So Jessica, if you put an answer in, the only thing I see is Andori is a blue tang. I'm not sure why some of your stuff's getting blocked. Nope. All I see is I did and then did that work. Okay. Jessica, I trust that you know it. All right. It is a clownfish. We're all good friends here. I'm going to giggle at this. If you're not on YouTube, I'm not going to call the person out, but they gave the answer. It was a guppy. I think that's the best answer right there. I love that one. I giggled on the inside. But yes, Ronald McDonald fish. There you go, Jessica. Clownfish. All right. Next question. We're on number 9 of 15. Who is Woody's love interest in Toy Story? That's what Tick just said. I get it. Who is Woody's love interest in Toy Story? Jessica with an answer. Chuck with an answer. Cheryl. Thanks, autocorrect. Over here. Blake with an answer. Cece with an answer. Skell with an answer. Helen with an answer. Amanda. Lamons. And Robbie with an answer as well. So, all right. Time's up. The answer is Bo Peep. Skell over here said Jesse. I was surprised more people didn't say Jesse, to be honest with you, because I think that's what your brain moves towards. I think the only thing is Jessie didn't appear in Toy Story until the second Toy Story. She was not in the first one. So Woody and Bo Peep kind of had their thing going in Toy Story 1. Robbie said Jesse. Yep, exactly. Yeah, so that's right. It is Bo Peep. Okay, we're heading back under the sea. What is the name of Ariel's best friend in The Little Mermaid? Cheryl, I would agree with you that Jesse and Woody kind of had a sister brother kind of thing. All right, Cheryl with an answer. Chuck with an answer. Popping over this side here. Helen, answer. CC with an answer. Amanda with an answer. Skell with an answer. Helen or Blake with an answer. Robbie with an answer. All right, time's up. Ariel's best friend is Flounder. Flounder's the little yellow colored fish. They might have a little blue accent, but yellow fish. So that's that one. Since I didn't ask the other question, and Jessica said it over here that Sebastian is her guardian, kind of watches out for her. Flounder was her best friend. Oh, anytime. That's right, Jessica. If I don't say your name that you answered, then yes, I didn't see it. Okay, we're gonna go back a little ways in movies. In the original animated 101 Dalmatians, what was Roger Radcliffe's profession? What did he do for a living? 101 Dalmatians. Cheryl with an answer. Jessica with an answer. Helen is I don't know this one. Cece with an answer. I trust y'all are not cheating, that you're just providing guesses and not doing any of that Googling stuff. Amanda with an answer. Chuck, what Cheryl said. That's cheating. You can't cheat off of other people's work, Chuck. You get a -10 for that. Just kidding. All right. Roger Radcliffe was a songwriter. So those of you that said music writer or composer, I will give you that. Jingle writer, I'll give you that. Yes. Those count. Close enough. They're in the ballpark. Okay. This is it's a two-part question, but I'll just ask the first one. What is the name of the chameleon in Tangled? The name of the chameleon in Tangled. Jessica has an answer. I'm going to jump over here. Amanda has an answer. Helen has an answer. Cece with an answer. Skell with an answer. Come back over this way. Jessica, I think, did I say you already? No, Jessica has an answer. Cheryl with an answer. Blake is in with an answer. All right, the correct answer was Pascal. He is the chameleon in the movie Tangled. We're going to stay with Tangled. What is the name of the horse in Tangled? Cheryl with an answer. Jessica with an answer. Chuck with an answer. Jumping over the other side. Amanda with an answer. Cece with an answer. Blake with an answer. Helen is in with an answer. Skell with an answer. Lamons is in with an answer. Jessica, yours counts. All right. Maximus was the correct answer. I think everybody got that right. Okay, we have 3 left. Who was the very first Disney princess? Very first one. Cheryl's in with an answer. Jessica. So Jessica's answer was her. I know you're not that old, so it was not you. I will take your second answer as an answer. Robbie with an answer. Robbie, I'll comment back to you in a second. Let's see here. Cece with an answer. Amanda with an answer. Blake is in. Helen is in. Skell is in. Lamons. Helen. Okay, let's see here. Yes, so the answer is Snow White. And Robbie, I would have been incredibly disappointed if you would not have got that right, because I know how you are with Snow White. We still need a longer segment of Snow White in Fantasmic. It's got to happen. Okay, 2 questions left. Who is the first Disney princess to not have a prince? First Disney princess to not have a Disney prince. This one might be the hardest one of all of them. Cece with an answer. Let's see here. Okay. Jessica with an answer. Robbie with an answer. Cheryl with an. I'm writing all this stuff down like I'm going to read off the scores at the end. I'm not going to do that. Helen with an answer. Blake with an answer. Lamons with an answer. Chuck does not know. This is a hard one. I think this is the hardest one of all the questions I'm going to ask or have asked. The correct answer, the first Disney princess to not have a prince, was Merida. I just watched that movie the other night with my grandson. Love that movie. She's such a spitball, little redhead, cute gal. So yes, Merida was the correct answer for that. All right, last one. For those of you that have been around long enough, when this park first opened, it was called MGM Studios. It's now Hollywood Studios, but it was MGM Studios. What did MGM stand for? It's 3 words, MGM. You got to get all 3 right. You don't get partial credit. So you got to have it all right to get credit. Oh, Helen, I would encourage you to watch it all the way through. It's a very cute movie. Cece with an answer. Cheryl with an answer. Cheryl, I got to laugh at that one because I think that's not masterful. Chuck's with a clever answer. I'll have to read some of these answers out loud. Robbie with an answer. Helen with a I don't know. Skell with an answer. Amanda with an answer. Blake with an answer. Clearly more answers on this one than on the Princess Without a Prince. Cheryl, I'm not going to give you credit for another one. I got to go back to TikTok, so I got to read some of you guys' answers. They're awesome. Let's see here. Cheryl first said mega good movies. Chuck said masterfully grand movies. And then Cheryl said money gets good. That would be MGG though, not MGM. Okay, so the correct answer was Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Okay, show of hands or me or whatever you want to put in here. Who went to that park when it was called MGM Studios? My goodness, Mickey, I like that one for MGM, Jessica. Cece, Amanda, you were there when it was MGM. Cece was there. Lamons was there. Robbie with a thumbs up, he was there. Blake was there when it was MGM Studios. Skell was there. So for those that have been there when it was MGM, not I, says Jessica. See, you're just too young. That's the problem with you, Jessica. Who of those that were there when it was MGM, what was an attraction that you remember back then that's no longer there now that you really enjoyed? And it's a case, it could be a case where that attraction was still there when it converted over to Hollywood Studios, but slowly closed thereafter. Mike goes to Mickey, MGM. I like that, Cheryl. I like that a lot. That's awesome. I don't know that Disney would go for that, but okay. Reading answers here. So Amanda said, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Playground. Cece with Great Movie Ride. Blake with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids area. Lamons, the Black Backlot Tram Ride. Great Hollywood Movie Ride. Skell. Good night, Helen. Thanks for joining. Take care. Sleep well tonight. Let's see over here. Robbie said, Great Movie Ride. Cheryl, my family, I didn't get to do Disney after COVID. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, Cheryl, that's pretty cool. Actually, I mean, I want to touch on that here in a second. I think the two answers that were given most, either Great Movie Ride or the Backlot Studio Tours. Now, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Playground was also mentioned a couple times. Especially the Backlot Studio Tours, that to me was quintessential what MGM was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the idea of a live studio where they, if you took that backlot tour on the tram, you go through a tunnel and it was inside buildings where they were sitting there stitching costumes and things like that. So I think of that ride quite a bit. Blake just mentioned the water tower with Mickey ears. I thought about that too. But Great Movie Ride. So that's Great Movie Ride is now Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That ride did not close down because of the switch to Hollywood Studios. It did not close down because they wanted to have a Mickey Mouse attraction, first ride ever at Disney World, which is bizarre to me. It closed simply because Disney lost the contract with Turner Classics, who owned the rights to most of the movie scenes in the Great Movie Ride. And if you think about it, at the very end of that ride, when your tram would pull up, there was the big screen, and they showed clips from, who knows how many different movies. But Disney lost that contract, so they had no choice but to swap out that ride to something different. So it wasn't anything beyond that. Yes, the shell of the Golden Girls house was on that tour. I really enjoyed doing that tour. It was a lot of fun. I missed that. But gosh, you think there's been a lot of things that were at Hollywood Studios / MGM that aren't there anymore. We mentioned 3 backlot tours, Great Movie Ride, the Honey, I Shrunk the Audience play set. You had the Lights, Motors, Action stunt show way in the back, which is backed by Galaxy's Edge now. They used to have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were there for a period of time when they were hot. They did character meet and greets there. They had the Goosebumps. If you ever saw the Goosebumps books or read those, they had a Goosebumps magic show there as well. All right, Robbie, thanks for joining. I'm glad you were able to join for a while tonight. Have a safe and happy 4th, and hopefully we'll see you back here next week. Mickey Ear Water Tower, yes. Streets of America, Amanda. And so for me, because you just said that, Streets of America, the thing that I miss beyond anything else at Hollywood / MGM is the Osborne family lights at Christmas time. If you got to go and see that, I'm sure you know what I mean. It was like over 1 million lights, all synchronized to music, and they had the snow falling, and Goofy Santa Goofy was there. I sat there probably for 2 hours to watch that. My whole family was there. we sat and watched, and like 10 minutes later, they're like, all right, ready to go. I'm like, no, you guys go do whatever you want to do. I'm staying here. And I sat there and enjoyed that for a long, long time. Loved it. Turner Class, you still around? Yes, that's right. Skelly, you're exactly right. Yeah, Blake, the gosh dang, Osborne family, I just absolutely love it. Cece said I missed the Star Wars weekends where they had character dance-offs. Yeah, Cece, that was pretty cool too. I missed the March of the Stormtroopers down the main strip there in Hollywood Studios. I freaking love that. It's that stomp, stomp, stomp in unison with all those Stormtroopers. It's like the toy soldiers in the Christmas parade at the Magic Kingdom. All right, so Cheryl, you had said that your family did not start going to Disney until after COVID. That is so cool. How soon after COVID did you go? And I asked that question. My family, we were scheduled to go in October of 2020. And if you remember, COVID kind of hit the planet in March. That's when everything started closing down and Disney closed down. They reopened before our trip in March, and we went. We were supposed to stay, I think, at one of the all-star resorts, if I remember right, maybe Movies. But when they first reopened the parks in October or September, whenever they opened, they did not open all of the resorts. So they moved us over to the Caribbean Beach Resort, which was fantastic. A, because you're upgraded from a value to a moderate, but two, because of the Skyliner, which is the first time I'd ever gotten to the Skyliner. Goddess Haven, how are you? Welcome in. So that was the first time I ever got to the Skyliner, fell in love with it. Yes, Jessica, I'm excited to see what D23 reveals as well. So, Cheryl, I don't know if you answered or not, but how soon after COVID did you guys go, if you don't mind sharing? We've been several times since COVID, but that trip in October, and Cheryl, you might be able to echo some of this stuff depending upon how soon after COVID you guys went. But they only had like 20%, 25% park capacity. So even smaller crowds than the Christmas party at Magic Kingdom. You were required to wear a mask. They had certain seating areas where you could take the mask off for a period of time, but you had to wear masks. 6 foot distancing. You guys remember that? Everywhere it was, 6 foot distancing. So you'd get in line for a ride and it looked like the line was forever, but there was 6 feet of space between each party. And so the lines were long because of that. But if everybody can condense like they do today, the lines are incredibly short. No parades, no fireworks. The parks closed like around 7 in the evening. So it was very different from that standpoint. Not seeing parades, not seeing the fireworks. They didn't have character meet and greets. All of that stuff was very different. While I missed those things, on the flip side, we were back to our resort by 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We were well rested for each park day. It was amazing. But so Lamont, you said you were there in September when it opened after COVID. You remember when you got to the entrance to each of the parks, they had a tent that you had to go through, and they took your temperature. And if you had a fever, they would, they'd have you wait for a little bit in the shade and then take your temperature again. And if you still had a fever, you weren't going into the park. I remember, again, we were there as a family. My parents were there, my wife and I, and our youngest son. It was just the 5 of us there. But I just remember thinking each morning, God, what if this has a slight fever, even though we're maybe not sick, could just be, worn out from the night before, whatever it may be. That was kind of stressful. But once we got into the park, it was great. Had a blast. Did miss the fireworks and the parades, but liked the smaller crowd sizes. It was kind of unbearable wearing those masks with the humidity and the heat down in Florida. But otherwise, very different from today, that's for sure. Cheryl, did I lose you? All your comments. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, with so D23 is coming up, and that's when they make announcements about future plans. If you think back, I think it was last year's D23 when we heard about the closure of Dinoland in Central Americas, and that was kind of already out in the open. People knew about it. But then you heard about Monsters Inc. Land, which was like, whoa, this is incredible. They're doing 2 lands. And then they said Cars Land and Magic Kingdom, and everybody's mind was blown. If you're watching it live, I remember watching it live and texting with 2 or 3 different people about, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then when you think they're done announcing, then they're like, bam, we're going to do Villains Land at Magic Kingdom too. And it was like, whoa, this is unreal. So that's what D23 is kind of about. They make announcements, and it's not just about the parks. They'll make announcements on their cruise lines. They'll make announcements about movies, anything Disney related. It's not just the parks, but most of us are watching D23 to hear about park announcements. So if you think about it, big announcement for Animal Kingdom with Dino Land closing, and then the new Central Americas with Encanto themed stuff in there. You've got Cars Land and Villains Land coming to Magic Kingdom in the next couple of years. You've got Monsters Inc. Land at Hollywood Studios coming in the next couple of years, which I got to be honest with you, from all of the concept art of everything I've seen, the new roller coaster at Hollywood Studios that's going to be Monsters Inc. themed, like the closet vault in that movie, blows my mind. I've talked about this before, so apologize if you're hearing it again, but I've ridden roller coasters in the past where the track is above your head and you get on and pull your harness down or however you're latched in, and then the floor drops and you go. In this case, with this new Monsters Inc. roller coaster, the track is above you, you sit down and latch in, the floor doesn't drop. The ride vehicle rises 10, 15 feet, whatever it is, to align with the track that's up there, and then you take off. Just looks incredible. I just watched Monsters Inc. over the weekend with my grandson, and just boom, when you see them chasing Randall and Boo, and they go into that vault with all those closet doors, it's like, gosh, I cannot wait for that ride to open up. So anyway, so Cheryl, okay, Cheryl, you're back. So I'd asked, how soon after COVID did you guys go? Was it really soon after and you experienced the park reduction in size and features, or was it a year or 2 after? I was curious about that. And hopefully, so I was done with the trivia questions. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want to do more trivia, let me know and we can do that on future calls. I always try to do something fun at the end that's a little bit different. I don't want to just sit and talk. Although if you know me well enough, you know that I can talk for a long time, but I enjoy the interactive part of this. Yeah, Lamont, you even had a whole monorail car to yourself. Absolutely. And the Skyliner, you weren't put in with another family. It was your family only. So anyway, so Cheryl, I don't know if you're still there, but yeah, I was just curious to know your experience when you went after COVID, how soon after. We were talking about the fact that there were no fireworks, no parade, no character meet and greets. You had to wear masks, 6 feet distancing. They opened the parks at like 20 to 25% capacity. Not all of the resorts opened up at that point in time. That was a very slow progression to being reopened. So that's about it. I kind of kept score. I kind of didn't keep score, but I think Jessica probably won. I don't know that she missed any that I remember. So no official score. So yeah, still lots of social distancing. Absolutely, Cheryl. Road trip. I'm excited for Cars Land. Look, I know there are people that are totally upset about Tom Sawyer Island closing and the Liberty Square boat and the Rivers of America all closing. I get it from a nostalgia point. I truly get it. But look, I could probably name a half dozen things that have closed at Magic Kingdom alone over the years. And now nobody says a word about it because what replaced that is just far better. You had 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's gone, and now you've got Seven Dwarfs Mine Train there. You had the Skyway, which was kind of like the Skyliner. It was a traditional ski lift ride that went across from Tomorrowland over to where Rapunzel's restrooms are in the tower. That's where the hubs were. You had Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. You had Stitch's Great Escape. You had the Alien Encounter. there's probably others. You had Snow White ride that was there. It was a dark ride. All those things are gone, and nobody really says anything about it anymore because what we have now is fabulous. And I truly believe once they put in that Cars Land with this, I mean, look, if you walk into Galaxy's Edge, don't you feel like you've just been transported to a whole new place? You walk into Toy Story Land and you're just consumed by the toys and everything. I think the Cars Land section is going to be the same way, where you're going to feel like I am in Radiator Springs. If you haven't been, but if you have been to Disneyland and Radiator Springs there, it's amazing. So I am totally excited. I think it's going to be wonderful. I understand that landscape is going to change. There's going to be rocks and stuff. And so some of your view from Big Thunder Mountain towards the castle might be obscured. But 6 months after, a year after, everybody's going to forget what it used to be like, and you're going to fall in love with that. It happens everywhere. Jessica, I don't know if that's how hiring works at Disney, to just tell them to hire you, but I like the ambition. So yes, I'm excited about Cars Land. That's a great question, Road Trip. Will Lightning McQueen have a meet and greet spot? So he used to have that at Hollywood Studios. They would open up a big wooden fence doors, and Lightning McQueen would pull out, and you could get pictures taken with him. I remember that quite a bit. They used to have a regular Phineas and Ferb meet and greet at Hollywood Studios. They're now currently at Epcot, but that used to be a big thing when my two oldest boys were younger. Lamont, I'm right there with you. I am too excited for the new changes that are coming. Blake, we were there in May of 2021. I actually loved the smaller crowds. Yeah, that part I loved, but I didn't love not having a parade and fireworks. I missed that stuff. So Road Trip, yeah, they used to have a parade at Hollywood Studios. It wasn't necessarily just cars, but it was really more of a Pixar parade. Loved it. You had Lightning McQueen was in it. You had Mr. Incredible, Mrs. Incredible. A lot of the characters from Toy Story were in it. Loved that parade. There was a point in time where they threw out little bitty, like, I don't know, smaller than a pool cue ball, but bigger than a golf ball, sponge Nerf balls that had something printed on it. I remember that. It was a daytime parade there. The only nighttime parade they ever had was at Magic Kingdom, and that was the Electrical Light Parade that I think Jessica just mentioned, Electrical Parade. There used to be parades at all four parks. They had a parade at Animal Kingdom, they had a parade at Epcot, and then the one we just mentioned at Hollywood Studios. I wish they bring them back. I really do. Now, Epcot and Animal Kingdom, I kind of understand, because at Epcot, it was in World Showcase. And so when that thing was running, if you were out ahead of it and it was coming towards you, you either had to wait for it to pass you, or you had to walk all the way around the lagoon. And if you're behind it, you had to walk all the way around this way. The Animal Kingdom parade was a lot of, I'm going to say puppetry, but not like puppets in your hands, but full-sized, and a lot of them were wooden. If you think of Maleficent in Festival of Fantasy Parade, it's all metal, but think of that in like wood or bamboo, a lot of those kind of things, and they had characters that moved them. It was pretty amazing. Yeah, they had the cavalcades going during that time, Charles. That's right. They had those. They just did not have traditional parades. The idea was they didn't want people lined up on the streets shoulder to shoulder, since you're supposed to have 6 foot distancing. So they just quickly ran the cavalcades through. But you're exactly right on that. Blake, yeah, I mean, so he said he's excited for Villains Land. I think I am as well. I'm interested to see how it all plays out. I mean, I know they're going to fill in the Rivers of America for Cars Land, and I know basically back behind Big Thunder Mountain is where Villains Land is going to be. Are they going to have 2 entrance points into Villains Land? One by the exit of Big Thunder Mountain, and the other over by Haunted Mansion? Or will they only have an entrance over by Haunted Mansion? Because to me, Haunted Mansion is a great lead right into Villain's Land. When you think about it, I mean, Haunted Mansion, Ghost, whatever, leading into Villain's Land, I think it's perfect. Which makes me think I feel bad for Star Tours sitting way over here, and then way over here is Galaxy's Edge, and the two are nowhere close to one another. Road trip, your first time to Walt Disney World was 2016 in October. So that was about 4 years, 3.5 years prior to COVID. Amazing times back then. A lot of cool stuff. But, change is hard for some, but progress is an amazing thing. And I don't know the exact quote, but that was one of Walt Disney's quotes was, that we want to be ever changing and parks will never be finished. We'll always look to move forward with the parks. Road Trip says, how are they going to rehome the gators before filling up river with dirt? So they've drained that before. I remember being there. Gosh, it feels like it was only 3 years ago, but they did refurbishment on that paddle boat. They drained all that out. And it was like amazing to see because once it's all drained out, you see that boat is not free floating. There's a track that it's on. So it's not going to bang into something one way or the other. So you saw that. So, I mean, they drained it before and they had no issues. I would imagine there's few, if any, gators in there whatsoever. Cheryl, after Epic's opening issues, I'm glad Disney is taking time to make new lands the best they can. I 100% agree, Cheryl. I totally agree. So there, I'm going to say the word everybody, and I don't mean everybody, but everybody was on this bandwagon of Disney's so scared of Universal because of Epic Universe opening up, and that's why Disney's doing this. That's why Disney's doing that. That's why they did this. That's why they did that. And it's like, you know what? Disney's not scared of Epic Universe. If you look historically, and I did some research on this, when Animal Kingdom opened at Disney World, attendance at Universal went up. It's just inevitable. A park opens, people are going to flock to Orlando. And they're not going to flock there just to go to that one park. Most will say, well, I'm going to spend a little time at both places. So it's a win-win for everybody. I think if you saw one of the executives at Disney sent a, best wishes kind of message to Universal. And it wasn't, in jest or lighthearted. It was sincere. They meant it. Disney wants Universal to succeed. Universal wants Disney to succeed. SeaWorld needs both of them to succeed because I don't think SeaWorld by itself could draw enough people. But yeah, I mean, Epic had some problems. There's no doubt about that. And that's one of the complications. It's anything. And I'll explain what I mean by that. With the new technology that those parks have, things can break down easier. If you're old like me, my parents in their basement still have the refrigerator, and it works, that we had when I graduated high school. You buy a refrigerator today, and you're lucky if 10 years from now it's still working. I mean, new technology doesn't always mean better. It might have more flashy bells and whistles, but it doesn't mean longevity lasts. And they had a lot of trouble with the new technology there. You think about Rise of the Resistance. When it goes down for a long period of time because of the technology wrapped around it. Tiana is another one with the new technology and the animatronics moving based on the cart coming through. If that goes down, they have to reset everything. It takes a while to get that going back up. But so Jessica, back to your thing in D23. So you've got all these things happening at Hollywood, at Animal, and at Magic. Nothing big in nature is happening right now going in the next couple of years at Epcot. I think part of that is because Epcot had a lot of transformation. They put in the new gardens, the Walt statue, the Moana water feature. They just did the big thing with Test Track, and that's reopening later on this month. They moved from Harmonious and Epcot Forever to Luminous. So I think those were the big things right now for Epcot, but I would imagine Epcot would be the next big announcement of anything coming. Everybody wants a new land in the a pavilion in the World Showcase. I think that would be great. Then you get the speculation of what would that pavilion be? What country would you guys like to see come in at Epcot in the World Showcase? Can't wait for food and wine road trip. Yeah. Although I'll be honest with you, that's my least favorite of the four festivals. Not that I don't like it, but it's my least favorite. Cheryl wants a Mary Poppins ride in the United Kingdom. That's been speculated, and I think it would be amazing. There were speculations about a bullet train roller coaster in Japan. There have been talks about a ride in Germany. But if you're going to have a new country enter the World Showcase, what do you think? What would you like to see? Jessica, Festival of the Arts. If that's not my favorite, it's my second favorite. I think it's that one, and then it's Festival of the Holidays, then it's Flower and Garden, and then Food and Wine. And so road trip. Not that I don't like Food and Wine, but for me, of the four festivals, that's the one that has no visual appeal. Obviously, with the arts, it's all visual and hearing, right? With music, Flower and Garden's all visual with the flowers and colors and beautiful. And then Christmas is very visual. That's for me why I put Food and Wine last. I think road trip, they could probably find room to add another pavilion in World Showcase. Jessica would like to see cultural aspects added instead. I think that's an interesting idea. Do more with refreshment outposts and fully dedicate to an African country. I like that. I think Brazil is one that has been mentioned before. If some of you know this, I've been pitching for a Nebraska pavilion to go in the World Showcase. I mean, I can't think of a better state in the country than Nebraska to showcase there. And I have a lot of grand ideas for them. I'm just waiting for their phone call. There you go, Cheryl. Go Cornhuskers. There you go. Thank you. Love that. Obviously, I'm kidding. Blake, Animal Kingdom needs to do something with the water pavilion just sitting empty. Fill it in and add a new land. Are you talking? So the water pavilion, are you talking about, Blake, where they used to do that show on the water? You've got the kind of like an amphitheater seating with seats there right around that lake area. Is that what you're talking about? There you go, road trip. Put a baseball stadium in there. Yes. Okay. So Animal Kingdom, they used to do a show out on the water. There was one with kites. They had another one at some point in time, and there's all that seating there. I am 1,000,000% with you. Either I don't think they'll ever fill in the water because it takes away from the idea of the aesthetics of the park, but put another show there in that water. You've got the seating there. Come up with something. There's no reason why Disney can't come up with a show to put in there. I would love for that to happen. But if not, then yeah, it's wasted space doing nothing. You could do something with it. No doubt about it. I'm one that obviously right now, Animal Kingdom, it's a tough sell. You already have people who for decades now, since the park opened, have felt like Animal Kingdom was a half-day park. Now, I'm not necessarily one that believes that, because if you take in all that Animal Kingdom has, you can spend the day there. But with no Dino Land whatsoever, and the Tree of Life show shut down right now while they're getting ready to change that to Zootopia, there's even less to do at Animal Kingdom. When we were there last month with my 21-month-old grandson, he could ride Navi River and he could ride the safari. That was it. So it's like, well, those two rides, and then you got a half dozen shows. I guess you could say the train to Rafiki's Planet Watch, he could ride that. So 3 rides. But it's limited in nature. You take away Animal Kingdom, Dino Land, which only had 2 rides, but it was still something. And so you need to add more. And I don't think the new Central Americas with 2 rides is enough. I think they need to add more than that. All right, so Jessica, I'm catching up. So Jessica said an Animal Kingdom's Fountain of Youth, water projections into animal groups. theme to music for each. That would be cool. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't do something like that. I'm also one that thinks, well, I understand Animal Kingdom closes earlier because they've got all those animals in the safari that they've got to get through their routine. And most of those animals that are out on the savannah, they bring them in every night. If you've ever been on a safari ride around 5 p.m. and you get out into the savannah, all of the giraffes are standing over against a wall because that's where they go in at night. That's where they get fed, and they know it. So I appreciate the fact that at least that part of the park needs to close down earlier so they can get the animals contained. But leave Avatar, leave that area open later so that you can be there when it gets dark. Concrete. That's such a waste of opportunity there for the time and thought that they put into doing that. Hey, VBs, welcome in. So VBs, I am live with you on YouTube. I'm live on my Mike_Disney Travel TikTok page as well. So I'm kind of going back and forth and reading comments. Drone fireworks and a water show would be amazing. So Road Trip, they had that drone show at Disney Springs last summer. And I thought they would bring it back. I know they had a couple drones that crashed. And I know there was a drone accident in Orlando, not Disney, but in Orlando, that somebody got injured with last year. So I think there was some hesitation there. But I would love to have seen that come back. And you could do something like that at Animal Kingdom as well. Let's see here. Grease Pavilion, Cheryl says, would be great. Hercules meet and greet. Absolutely, Cheryl. I would love that idea. Yeah, Jessica, next week. She can join. If she can join next week, I'd love to have her join us again. Well, gosh, it's her birthday. I guess she can probably do something other than hang out with us on her birthday. I accept that. Yeah, they could do a drone show in Animal Kingdom in that water area. Absolutely. There's no reason why they couldn't do that. Scotland would be pretty cool for a new land. Absolutely. Yeah, Pandora lit up at night is amazing, Lamont. You're absolutely right. I couldn't think Pandora when I said Avatar. But yeah, I think that's a miss on their part. They could keep that part of the park open later for people that wanted to stay. Absolutely. I think they could do that. Jessica. Fountain show like Disneyland would be pretty cool as well. You're sad that Ruby could not ride Flight. Was she too short, Jessica, I assume? I didn't ride Flight of Passage this last trip. Lori and I stayed with Briggs. Everybody else rode it, which was all right with me. I had a blast with that little guy. We had so much fun. Probably in a couple more years, we will take our little granddaughter, Poppy, which I was just watching her tonight just before I went live. It was just her and I downstairs. Her dad, my son Kramer, was outside messing around with his car. And I'm like, dude, I got to get on this thing in about 5 minutes. You got to hurry and get back in here. So he came in and I sprinted up here and started right at 6:30 Central Time. But yeah, little Poppy, she's 3 months old. She just smiled and giggled at me. And she was napping and she woke up and I fed her a bottle. And then she was ready to go. I don't know if you heard that big boom outside, but being the week of the 4th of July, here where we live, they can sell fireworks for 10 days, 4th of July being the 10th day. So I think that was June 25th or 25, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 25th, they started selling fireworks here. So as it's starting to get a little bit darker out, you can start hearing booming. You have booms too. It's thunder, not thunder here. Those are actual fireworks. Sweet Poppy girl. She's a little sweetie pie. She's so tiny compared to Briggs. Briggs was a little chubby guy when he was born. Curious to see if they'll keep it open later after Tropical Americas opens. Yeah, VBs, I agree with you. There's no reason why they can't and shouldn't. I mean, I understand they got to get the animals put away and all that jazz, but you go over to Pandora. I got it right this time. You go over to that area. It's so quiet and serene. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of screaming and yelling. It's not like people riding Everest that are screaming. It's a pretty quiet area. So I think they could keep that open later and it would not affect the animals whatsoever. Jessica, I like that idea. Pictures of her and Briggs together. They've only been together, I think, twice. So I look around like I have it. So orange is my favorite color. And for those that you don't know why, orange is the color that represents kidney cancer. And I'm a 2-time kidney cancer survivor. So orange is my favorite color. A couple years ago, right after Briggs was born, Lori and I were down at Disney and went to the M&M store in Disney Springs, and I bought an orange M&M shirt for me and an orange onesie for Briggs. And so got a picture taken of him and I together on orange. When we were there just this past year, maybe it's last September, knowing that Poppy was coming, we bought a orange onesie for Poppy and bought a larger orange M&M shirt for Briggs. So at some point, I'm going to get a picture holding both of them, and we'll all have our orange M&M shirts on. So I can't wait to do that. They could absolutely close off certain areas. You better believe it, Jessica. There's no doubt about that. VBs, you're exactly right. One of the best parts about going in the winter is getting to see Pandora at night, since sunset's so early. You also get the projection show on the Tree of Life as well on your way out. So another added benefit of going in the evenings in the wintertime. Jessica, I'm not trying to make you tear up. I just, something very special for me. I'm going to try not to get emotional myself, but I reflect often on the fact that I'm very, very lucky to still be here after having cancer twice. I've had a heart attack. I went septic once, and for things going septic was the scariest thing ever. So I'm more than thankful to still be here. If any of you that have been around me at all on social medias or whatever, you hear me say this all the time, that it is a great day to be alive. And man, I live and breathe that every single day. No doubt about it. Let's see here. Tanner, I appreciate that. He said, we're lucky to have you. Jessica said, we're very lucky to have you here. Cheryl said, you're amazing. So glad that you're still here with us. Yeah, because if I wasn't here, you guys would just be staring at this back corner and there'd be nobody talking. It'd be really awkward for all of us. But yes, I'm thankful beyond words. And so each new day with any experience I get, I'm thankful for. Whether it's grand or small, I'm very, very, very fortunate for that. So, and I see Lori just joined us on TikTok. So Lori, I was talking about my experiences with cancer and heart attack and septic, and the fact that it is and always will be a great day to be alive. Tanner says, I love your sense of humor. You're a beautiful being. I don't know about beautiful. I do have a sense of humor. Some like it, some maybe not so much. I am a smart donkey. I'll use the safe term. I'm a smart donkey a lot of times with my humor. But yes, I like to have fun. I like to laugh and enjoy life to the fullest. We all have challenges. I'm certainly not telling you that every single day is rosy and happy. We all have challenges, but I look at challenges as opportunities for something bigger and better to come along. So Tanner says, I know how much you love pickles. No. So anybody who doesn't know, you're at a red light picking up dinner. I'm hungry too. Hint, hint. Anybody who doesn't know, I don't like pickles at all. And I made that very clear last year. And when we were down in Disney in September, we had a group gathering. Janelle from Disney Parks with Love did a fundraiser for Kidney Cancer Association. And if we raised a certain amount of money, I had said I would eat a pickle. Never truly eaten a pickle other than tasting what it tastes like, pickle, whatever. We raised more money than I could have ever imagined. The day that we hit our goal, I broke down and cried. Lori, if she's still on, she can vouch for that. Absolutely cried. I tasted the pickle shake when we were down there at Epcot the one day. And again, Lori can vouch for me. I thought I was going to pass out. I felt god awful, horrible. The next day we did the pickle. I had a speech that I read. Again, I cried. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I don't hide my emotions whatsoever, and I'm not afraid of them or ashamed of them. So I cried with the 20 or 30 people in that room. I cried with God knows how many people that were watching the stream. And when it got time to bite into this pickle, it was look, it was borderline cucumber size. I'd never bitten into a pickle. I go to bite into this thing. I had no idea that the outer skin or shell was as tough as it was. I'm thinking I'm getting punked, and this is like a fake pickle that they gave me. And I finally bit into that, and oh my God, I thought I was going to lose it. It was probably great viewing, and everybody probably had a good laugh. Yes, Jessica, I know that a pickle is a cucumber. I know that, but yeah, I'm sure everybody had a great laugh, but it was worth it for the money that we raised for the Kidney Cancer Association. And so I was happy to do that. I'm not doing that again this year. Not happening. I'm done with pickles. Here's how bad it was for me. If you've ever tried Beverly at Epcot, the day before when we were at Epcot and I did that pickle shake, I had an empty water bottle. I filled it completely full with Beverly. I took a bite of that pickle and I ate it and swallowed it. They did not make me eat the whole pickle. I don't think I would have survived. I drank the entire bottle of Beverly and I thought it tasted fantastic. About 10 minutes later, I drank, it was about this size, about half the size bottle, a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. I drank that whole dang thing. I think those two things saved me, honestly. Let's see here. Yes, see, Tanner, exactly. He would drink a glass of Beverly before taking a bite of a pickle. Unfortunately, I did both. But yeah, I had to. So if you don't know this, Beverly is actually supposed to be a palate cleanser. So to me, I thought, hey, drinking that after eating that pickle would get that pickle taste out of my mouth, which worked out well. Blake asked, did I have a transplant? You went through a lot. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. So here's my story. I'll keep it brief because we've been going a while. In 2008 was my first kidney cancer. We were in Des Moines, Iowa for a baseball for my middle son, who at the time would have been 14, I think, if my numbers come in my head correctly. I had a kidney stone. I knew I had a kidney stone. I've had them before, so I knew the pain and the feeling of it. The middle of the night, I passed this stone, and it was larger than any stone I'd ever passed. It was a full centimeter in size. So you can get out your rulers and look at that. And it was jagged. I saved it. And when we came back home, I called my doctor and told him I'd passed the stone. And when I told them how big it was, they said, you probably should come in. That's the size you probably should not have been able to pass. We want to make sure that you didn't cause any damage. So went in, they did a CAT scan, was on a Friday. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was close to 5 o'clock. I was down at the baseball field in the batting cages with my son, throwing to him, and my phone rings. It's like 5 to 5. And I grab my phone. It's my doctor's office calling. I think, okay, well, maybe they're calling with the results. Didn't think anything of it. I answer. It's not the receptionist. It's not the nurse. It's my actual doctor calling, which right then and there was like, ooh, this is different. And he said, so just want to let you know that we got the results back and there is a in your kidney and we want to have you see a urologist. I said, okay. He said, well, we'll get it lined up and we'll call you. So I'm thinking, later on in the next week, I'll get a call at some point with an appointment. And like at 10 after 5, again, it's Friday night, 10 after 5, my phone rings again. It's my doctor's office. I answer. It's my doctor. He said, all right, we have you set up for Monday morning at 8 a.m. or something like that. It was early on that next Monday. And at that point, I'm like, okay, now this is serious. So when we went in to see the urologist, if you think of a kidney bean shape, that's kind of like the kidney looks like. At the very top of the kidney, there was a bubble on the outside of it. Almost like if you ever had one of those bubbles on your tire inner tube when you were a kid, that's what it looked like. So the first surgery in 2008, Blake, they went in with a robot. My doctor was in another room with his arm through sleeves with joysticks controlling a robot, went in and they cut off the top portion of the kidney. You can live off of partial kidney. So they just cut off part of it. That was our decision. Like, I would like to live with as much of both kidneys as possible for as long as I can. So each year after that, in 2009, 10, 11, 12, up to 13, I went in for annual exams and nothing showed up. And he told me after year 5, if there's nothing there, you're in the clear. Go in year 5, 2013, scan, go to meet with them. He's like, well, let me show you what we're seeing here. So he pulled up the image and there was a new tumor and it was smack in the middle of that same kidney. So in 2013, they took the rest of the kidney. So no transplant, did not have to go through with that, but I only have one kidney now. Fortunately, both cancers were in the same kidney, not both, because otherwise they'd be in a much different place today. But that's my kidney story. Jessica, all I saw you say was curious. I'm not sure what. I appreciate that, Jessica. You'd give me a kidney. Fortunately, I don't need one yet. And again, you can live on partial kidneys. So if I had to lose part of my last kidney, I could still live with that. But I'm not sure. You said curious. I'm not sure what you said, what that was supposed to be about, Jessica. So, curious about the pickles. I just don't like the taste. I don't like the taste. Here's what I like to say. I don't like the taste. I don't like the texture. I don't like the color. I don't like the smell. I don't like the way the word's spelled. Anything that has to do with pickles, don't like it. Perhaps I'll get special pickle mail. One of my new good Disney friends who lives down in Kansas sent me this pickle plush. I always keep it here with me. So yeah, this was, it's like, gee, thanks. She was down at Disney last year in September when we did the pickle. Lori freaked out about only one kidney. Look, I wasn't too keen on it either. Anthony, how are you? Look, I like Sonic, just not anything pickle related. The idea of the pickle and the Dr. Pepper, no, thank you. None of that. No, Jessica was not Kirsten. It was, I'm drawing a blank. Good Lord, I can see her. Good gravy. I'm totally losing my mind. Shannon, her name was Shannon. Thank you. Shannon. Yes, it was another Kansas buddy. She's in Kansas as well. Shannon was her name. First day's back at the actual job. That's a bummer. Yeah, so Shannon, who she will be down there in November. Jessica, you'll get to meet her. She'll be there as well. And yes, Anthony, I can't wait to meet you as well. I'm excited about it. Very excited. It's like 134, 135 days, somewhere in that neighborhood. Another friend for a cake. Yes, Jessica. So for those of you that are going to be there, I'll start with that and then I'll go backwards to what I'm talking about. For those that are going to be there on November 12th, right, Jessica? November 12th, Jessica's little girl, Ruby, is turning 8. I think I got that story right. That's her actual birthday, and that's the day they arrive. For any of us that can be there to help celebrate Ruby's birthday. Hi, Kate. Welcome in. How are you? So November, those that are going to be there, we are having a Park Life party, a friends and family festival, if you will. So it is November 13th, 14th, and 15th. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday evening, we're all going to get together at Disney Springs. Hopefully the Christmas tree stroll is up and running by then and we'll enjoy that. Otherwise, we'll have a good time getting together and meeting new people and meeting other friends that we met last year and enjoying our love of Disney and our love for our fellow humans. Friday during the day, we'll be at Magic Kingdom. And then for those that want to do it, Friday night should be a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. It's been on Friday nights for at least the last 6 years. Don't see that changing. Saturday, we will be at Epcot all day. If you're interested in going, reach out to me. I would love to work with you and get something set up. Some of us are going to be there for just the shorter weekend, Thursday through Saturday. Some might be Thursday through Sunday. Some are going to be there the whole week. Some might be there 8 or 10 days. It's totally variable. We've kind of designated All-Star Movies as the host resort, if you will, so that at least there's a landing spot for most people if they all want to stay in the same area. We did that last year at Pop Century. I pick a value resort to make it as affordable as possible. By no means are you required to stay there. You can stay at any of the resorts. You can stay off property for that matter. Yep. Thank you, Anthony. That's right. Thursday Springs, meet up Friday, MK, and party that night. Saturday, Epcot. Perfect. Oh, that's for you. That's for all of us. That's fair, though. So totally excited about that. It's, like I said, 134-ish, give or take, days. My countdown gets skewed because I try to do the November 13th countdown, not necessarily the day that some of us are arriving. So I get numbers in my head all over the place. Okay. I think that's a wrap for tonight, guys. What do you think? We've been on for, holy Moses, we've been on for 2 hours. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Be honest with me. You will not hurt my feelings. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Did you like the fact that I was on both social medias tonight simultaneously? Did you not like it? Or do you don't really care one way or another? That's right, Anthony. 12th through the 18th for you guys. I think we were there the 11th through the 18th, if I remember right. I'm excited for that because we will be there on the 11th. Oh, we don't get in till late, though. Dang it. Oh, well. That's Veterans Day. I was thinking it'd be cool to go to the flag retreat, but our flight doesn't land until like closer to 5 in the evening. Skell gave me a thumbs up for both social platforms going at the same time. Appreciate that. Cheryl, the dates for the meetup are November 13th, 14th, and 15th. Anthony gave me thumbs up. Jessica liked it. Amanda with the thumbs up. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Cheryl, hopefully you can join up and meet up with us. That'd be awesome. Blake gave me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Oh, cool, Jessica. She's flying in to you the day before, and then you guys are going to awesome sleepover. Love that. That's cool. I'm excited for that. Let's see. I think that's what I got for tonight, guys. So I will probably plan on doing this duel again. My laptop's sitting right here. I've got a stand that has my little ring light just dangling off of it, and then a holder for my phone here. This is about as close as I could get to put them both together. However, the phone holder's on this side of the pole. I might move it over to this side of me for next week, and then they're closer to one another. I don't know. I'll mess with it. The other thing, I showed you my pickle plush. The other thing that I'm totally in love with is this Mickey. It's crocheted. Janie Diaz, who's on our live sometimes, although I haven't seen her in a while. I got to reach out to her and see where she is. She made this for me and sent it to me one year. I freaking adore this. It's just gorgeous. The amount of work and detail she put into it is amazing. Love it. So it always sits right here, right by me. Love it. I've got my Mickey popcorn bucket from Christmas and my Mickey, where is he at? Popcorn bucket from Halloween. This is my one and only Loungefly that I own. It's a Christmas one. I've got some other stuff sitting there. That's the little souvenir from ice cream store at Magic Kingdom. There's a sipper, other stuff like that. Do you feel like you could maneuver between the two okay? It worked good for us, I think. Yeah, I think it went okay, Cheryl. I was just concerned if people would be annoyed that I had to go back and forth, but I think it went all right. Such a different angle. Hopefully this is my better side. I didn't think about that. If this is my better side, I'm definitely moving it over there for next week. So good. I'm glad Cheryl was not annoying at all. All right. So anybody that's just joined on YouTube, on TikTok, thank you for joining. We're about ready to end for the night. But on TikTok, this is Mike_Disney Travel. I am a travel agent that specializes in Disney. I am also live on my YouTube channel, which is Park Life Podcast. I would love for you to give me a follow or subscribe. On YouTube, it's subscribing, similar to follow on TikTok. Love for you to subscribe to the Park Life Podcast channel on YouTube. I also have the same Park Life Podcast channel on Spotify. I drop a podcast Monday mornings at about 5 a.m. Eastern time. If you ever have a topic for a future podcast that you'd like me to record, by all means, share it with me. Podcasts are only valuable if it's information that you guys want to hear. If you have questions for these lives, we do these every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And I think I'll share at least for a while. We'll see how it goes. Jessica, thank you for posting that or pinning that. I appreciate that very much. I can't do this without you guys, so enjoy the time with you. I appreciate your interaction. I thought trivia was fun. I might have to make the next one harder with more difficult questions, but that was a good start for us. So that's it for tonight. I appreciate everybody joining and hanging out with us. Went a little bit longer than normal. I like to try to keep it an hour to hour and a half, so we'll try to condense for next time. So have a great night and even better tomorrow. When you wake up tomorrow, remember it is a great day to be alive. And for those that are celebrating 4th of July this weekend with fireworks, please, please, please be safe. Enjoy, and I look forward to talking to you next Tuesday. All right, goodbye, everybody. Have a good night. I'm going to end one and then end the other. So some of you are going to stay with me a little bit longer. You're stuck with me if you're still here. All right, see you guys. Have a good night.